While on the subject of engines, this engine is in the middle of the engine bay, as you can see. There is a minimum distance, which I'll look up and hopefully put on the screen, that you have to have between the engine and the rear axle. Because the obvious thing to do, and what would increase the performance of the car, is to move the engine back as far as I could physically in the car. So you could bring it quite a long way back, and that would transfer the weight from the front of the car to the middle, and it would just make the weight distribution better. But again, to make it fair with all the different cars and to put some kind of stop in place, there is now a minimum distance. I say now, it's been there for years, but there is a minimum distance between the engine and the rear axle. To manage to do a couple of these pipes, and I'm really struggling, to be honest. I just find it very difficult to get the ends on. It's sort of very easy to cross thread them. I've managed to avoid damaging the threads, and this one's together. There's one for the breather done. I've had to put a bit of tape around here because it took me so much effort, and I had to put it all into the I had to put it in the vise and just basically making a bit of a mess of it. So these ends have got some of the braiding sticking out. It's no big deal, but just unfortunately it just cuts your fingers really easy. So I've just put a bit of tape around them, which isn't ideal because it looks a bit naff, but so this is proving to be the hard bit. Getting this in there, it looks blooming easy. You just push it in and rotate and it should go in right, but honestly it doesn't. Definitely getting a bit easier. That first one, probably took me well over an hour to do that first pipe. Easy. So I think you've just got to be really patient and careful, and that's the challenge for me. And obviously if one of these pipes comes off, that's your engine down the drain. That one turned out a lot nicer. Does actually get a bit easier, but I mean it's still difficult. So I'm just putting a bit of tape on there just to, because it's so abrasive, this stuff, it just rubs on the chassis and just makes it look terrible after a while. So put a bit of this tape on. So I'm just planning the route for the water pipes now. So I'm going steady at it just to get the cuts in the right place. The nice thing about this is, compared to the oil pipes, it's a breeze, but obviously making sure I maintain it so it's neat is important. So I'm just trying to get everything lined up. Right, this pipe that I put in is bugging me. These ones I've done are lovely. This first one, I just don't know whether I can live with it. And also, I've got, I think it's 150 degree union here, and the last pipe I've got to make up needs a 90. This won't work. So actually this will work nicely here, and then I can bring that pipe more over the top, which will give me more room for the adjustment of the steering rack. So all in all, I've got enough pipe. It's a win-win. I'm going to do it again. I'm happy with that. That's much neater. I'll tighten that up. The space to the belt, that's fine. And it takes it out of this area here. So I think that's actually worked out well. Lovely. I've worked out about 100 hours in now. The car it feels so close, even though it's got no body kit on it. Hasn't been started yet. There's still lots to do. But yeah, about 100 hours between myself and the team. The team have done a couple of Saturdays. There's 4 of those guys. And then I've just been cracking on. Next job is, I'm a bit restricted now because I'm waiting for parts. So I'm waiting for steering column, which means I can't put the dashboard in yet, because the steering column is, I'm using a power steering system, and therefore the dash needs to fit around that. So I've got to wait for that because it's not been fabricated yet. Rear axle, haven't got replacement as yet. So it's just those 2 things actually, thinking about it. But I think I can put a bit more. I've got obviously a lot more wiring here, so I think I can at least connect up what I can, get it all neat and tidy, so when I can start fitting the dash, at least I've just got a plug and play and a bit of tidying up. The dashboard we use is, this is quite a modern dash for us, so we use a stack system, which is really common on sort of circuit racing stuff. But we always traditionally have used, the old-fashioned dials. The reason we haven't really changed to this until now is you're not allowed any telemetry on these cars. So what I mean by that is, on a GT car or something like that, you would have all the data of what's happening in every corner, accelerator pedal, brake pedal, all the positions of everything, amount of steering you've got on, brake temperatures, you name it, there'd be a plug-in for it. But you're not allowed any of that on National Hot Rods, so it keeps it, simpler and keeps the cost down. So there's not really been a requirement for such a sort of modern system. However, we've now moved to this just because it is actually much tidier, much neater to fit. There is no telemetry on this, it's just all the water temperatures, oil pressures. That's the only sort of telemetry we're allowed, is the basic stuff you would normally get on a big dial. So I think I can fit some of that now. And then I've got the wheels to sort out, because whilst I've got them, I need to put valves in, I need to put the tyres on. And then I'm just waiting really. So yeah, been doing well. I'm just putting some valves on these wheels. You may or may not have noticed that they're not that big, these wheels. They're only actually 13 inch in diameter. They've always been 13 inch really from the 70s, and in the 70s they started using really wide tyres, so they're 10 inch wide, which is what they used to run on the front of Formula 1 cars. So a lot of the drivers used to go to the different tyre suppliers and pick up the old tyres from them that had been used on Formula 1 cars. So we've remained with those. I'm not entirely sure the full story why, but it suits everyone. We've always got lots of wheels. I've got 16 wheels. To change them and get bigger wheels, we've all got to do at the same time. Plus the tyres we import from America, because the Americans use these wheels a lot as well. So it's kind of a regular supply, good supply chain of the right size tyres, and the tyres aren't huge money either. Obviously, if we went bigger on the wheels, the tyres would get more expensive. So kind of works out for everyone, really. So I'm going to get these valves put on, and then I can start putting the tyres on. I've got a tyre machine, so that's nice and easy. I don't have to... we don't balance them. They're only small, they're light, and because our speeds aren't crazy, you don't really get that to that point where you need to balance them. So it makes it easier to chop and change your tyres. Before I had this machine, I can't tell you how difficult it was. I couldn't do it. My dad could do it, even though he's much older than me and not as strong as me. He could do it. It was a technique, but really back-breaking. So you've really got to have one of these machines, because we get one new tyre per round, means you're swapping tyres a lot, because you've got to, because you're going around corners the same way, you've got to swap them to the inside. Once they start wearing in a particular way, so you're going around right-hand bends, obviously all the force is going across the tyre. If you suddenly swap that round so the force is going the opposite way on the tyre, it just doesn't like it, and you'll lose loads of performance. So once you've started on a tyre, once it started turning right, it'll never turn left again. We've hit a stumbling block now, because I can't get the replacement axle very quickly, and I'm going away tomorrow, so for 10 days, and then when I get back there's 3 days until the race meeting, so I'm not going to get it finished for that race meeting if I finish it off myself. But all there really is left to do is put the body kit on, the steering column in, and make the dashboard, and obviously replace that rear axle, which is sort of an hour's work to put that back in. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to send it back to the CBM guys who have agreed to finish the car for me, and then once I get back from holiday, we're going to go over to their place and we're going to start doing the setup. Okay, I'm going to strap it on there, and that'll have to do. Works straight, brilliant. Yo.
So that was long.
$6:20 in the morning. It's been an eventful 24 hours. So I picked the car up from, I started yesterday in Portugal, flew home from my holiday to Birmingham, went from Birmingham to my house, then picked up the trailer, went to Ipswich to pick up the car from Carl Bordley Motorsport. The plan was to go down towards where sort of Heathrow, stay over there for the night, and then take the car to the dyno today to get run in and tested and checked over. Anyway, it broke down. Waited for a tow truck. Thankfully, tow truck came, towed. We put the Range Rover in the back of the truck, and then towed the trailer behind it. Got home about just before 2 o'clock. I have then had a few hours kip, swapped to the Ford Ranger, which is empty of fuel, obviously, because my wife used it last. So no fuel in that, and I'm on my way down to
near Heathrow now to go on the Dyno. So yeah, it's all fun, man. But funnily enough, kind of enjoyed it. It's part of an adventure, isn't it? Okay, so on our way back, I'm on my way back from, I always say we, but often it's just I. Anyway, I'm on my way back from the dyno. Really good session. No problems with the car, or the engine should I say. It all performed as we wanted it to, so really pleased about that. It's pretty much the most powerful engine I've had in terms of power and torque. I think there is a bit further to go with it, but we've kept it as it is for now, because there's no point going for all the power you can get straight away, because you've got to get used to the car, you've got to make sure you can put the power down, otherwise you can just end up going backwards. So that's where we're at. So I'm really pleased with that. So I'm going home now, have a bit of a rest, then tomorrow I've got to go through the whole car, measurements of every bit of suspension, to make sure I've got them all written down and we've got a base set up and I can do it all at home. So yeah, successful day.